In the last section, we set up Ingress and Nginx on our local machine. Now the last thing we have to do is create a new config file that's going to specify the different sets of routing rules that we want to use inside of our application. We're going to use the exact same routing rules that we had used back on some of our previous projects, specifically the Elastic Beanstalk one, where we set up our own custom Nginx server. So if you recall, back on that project, we had said that anytime we had some amount of incoming traffic, we looked at the path of the request. And we had said that if the request started with /API, we were going to automatically send that request off to the server. Otherwise, we would send the request off to the client, assuming that it needed to access some of the client-side resources. So we're going to set up a Ingress config file right now that's going to implement this routing rule set. So inside of my code editor, I'm going to find my K8s directory, and inside there, I'm going to make a new file called ingress service.yaml. Then inside of here, we're going to write out our config file that, as usual, is going to look very similar to a lot of the other config files we've already put together. So I'm going to specify an API version. This one is going to have a longer version on it that we've not used before. I'll say extensions v1 beta 1. The kind of object we are going to create is an ingress. We'll then set up our metadata. So we'll give it a name of ingress service. And then unlike previous metadata fields that we've set up, this one is actually going to have a couple of other metadata properties as well. So I'm going to add on a new thing to this called annotations. Annotations are essentially additional configuration options that are going to specify a little bit kind of higher level configuration around the ingress object that it gets created. So the first thing we're going to do here, we're going to add on kubernetes.io/ingress.class of nginx, like so. So this configuration rule right here is essentially telling Kubernetes that we want to create an ingress controller based on the nginx project. Then immediately after that, we're going to add in another configuration rule that's going to specifically configure how our copy of nginx behaves.